Welcome to another video. Yes, it does look like I'm in the same clothes as the other video I just put out. 2 videos in one day. What more can you ask for? Your prayers were answered. So, I'm behind on videos. For those who have watched my Monday update video, I have been having all of a sudden a lot of audio issues. That video sounded horrible. One of the worst videos I did behind a computer since I first started. I don't know how all my audio settings got screwed up on my computer. Basically, I just wiped OBS off the computer, started over. I didn't realize I have an NVIDIA 4070 Ti graphics card in my computer. Didn't realize it also had some studio type setting drivers you can download. Downloaded that, got it working. So I hope that this audio sounds way better than it did Monday. Now I got to figure out this whole green screen crud. Sorry. So what's this video about? This video is kind of like a WINGBITS 2.0, and I might title it that. You know, y'all know I'm very big on WINGBITS, very big on Bit Harvest. Bit Harvest, WINGBITS to me is hand in hand. Yes, I know there's some other projects out there, the Spike drama, whatever like that. I'm not getting involved in that. I've told y'all before, they're both very good projects. I'm not going to knock either one of them. And if you're involved in Bit Harvest, you think that's the greatest thing in the world. If you're involved with Crank, you think that's the greatest thing in the world. Both people who run those projects are very, very passionate. This video is brought to you by C4 Crawfish Catering out of Corpus Christi, Texas. This is a good friend of mine. I do some hunting with him, who runs a crawfish catering company out of Corpus Christi, Texas. I've seen some great reviews on him. I'm looking at the pictures. He looks like he does a darn good job. Y'all know I do some cooking videos on my other YouTube page, and it looks very good what he has been doing. So I just want to help support him. If anybody knows anything about, crawfish or anything like that, it's not easy for everybody to do. So crawfish prices have been crazy, but if you want to, sometimes it's easy just to get them boiled yourself, especially if you have a big catering job. He has a website, c4crawfishcatering.com, or you can also find him on Facebook, C4 Crawfish Catering on Facebook. He also has an Instagram. I'll have links to this all in the video description below. So if y'all know anybody in Texas, South Texas, that needs some catering done, I know they've gone all the way to Houston, different places like that. So they can definitely get it done if y'all need it. They got a big trailer, nice big setup and all that. Check their Facebook out and their website. The guys at at Crank, is Milan, whatever his name is. I apologize, but he is very passionate about his project. He seems to have a good one going. I'm not gonna sit here. I don't know enough about it, and I've always said this about crypto. Crypto reminds me of me growing up in New Orleans, and especially in some of the movies I watched, where it's almost like gang warfare. It's like if you're involved in this project, you can't be with this project. Bit Harvest, those guys are passionate. I've been working with them since last year. Source code them guys are on top of their stuff and up day and night. I don't know when they sleep. And if you're on the Bit Harvest side, you're going to say same thing. We love Bit Harvest, whatever to Crank. I don't care. I'm about WINGBITS. Both sides will say, though, you go into Crank, they are 100% pro WINGBITS. You go into Bit Harvest, they're 100% pro WINGBITS. So, hey, we got a common ground. So, we'll work with what we can work with. And for me, I just separate them as 2 completely different projects. Crank is some type of IoT project. They're still kind of, still taking off, still getting their network ready and that kind of stuff like that. Bit Harvest is a firmware company that the firmware running all these different projects, but they don't have their own project as far as like an IoT project, something like that. To me, it's completely separate. But both of them support WINGBITS, and that's what we're here for today is WINGBITS. And I've told y'all just me because I know what BitHarvest is doing. I know how much I've worked with them as far as testing and stuff like that. And the price is right for me is I'm trying to work out deals right now with WINGBITS and putting WINGBITS all over the South from Texas, Mexican border, literally, to Florida, to Pensacola, Panama City, Destin, Fort Walton. I'm planning on being the godfather. I've joked around about that. The godfather or the Gestapo of the Gulf of Mexico. Make sure we talk about the right Gulfs here. Because I want to go to my WINGBITS dashboard and see every hex in the Gulf of Mexico from Louisiana to Cuba. I want to see those hexes lit up to the Yucatan Peninsula, all for me. That's just my goal. And I'm working out host deals, and when we don't know what it's going to pay, it's kind of hard, but I don't care. One person wants a little bit of cash, not a lot. I'm working a deal with them. One guy needs something else in return, with some IoT work and some other stuff I'm doing. I'll work that deal out with him. One guy's like, I'll put it up with the deal, and I trust him. He trusts me enough that put it up, see what happens when WINGBITS starts paying with mainnet at some point in 2 or 3 months. We'll work out what the deal will be then. I can't. So I am all out on WINGBITS. Every WINGBITS device will have BitHarvest on it. So we're clear on that. But what I preach to a lot of people is with WINGBITS, you don't need these huge elaborate setups. We've been through this in some of my videos before. I really need to do another complete setup video because looking back at my videos, I really don't have one like I used to have, where you're just taking a Helium device or a Pi and just setting it up for the first time if you only want WINGBITS. So I will work on that in the future because I had somebody ask me that, because the previous one was, you know, if you were already running so-and-so project, we don't discuss about it anymore. And then adding WINGBITS to it. But we're going to start with just a straight WINGBITS install on one of my videos at some point in the future. This is more in an advanced class right here. This is some stuff that we're working on. We've been discussing a lot with the admins and mods of WINGBITS. If y'all been following that in there, y'all have to be, I say this in every video, y'all have to be in these Discords, finding out what's going on with these projects. For most installs, first I want to say, let me back a little bit. I know back in the past, some of the problems with Helium was they didn't care where you installed your antenna at. You know, I don't work for WINGBITS. I don't work for BitHarvest. I don't work for Crank. I don't work for any of them. So I can say what I want to say. I want to see WINGBITS succeed. So what Grumpy says and what WINGBITS says is different. I apologize to WINGBITS for what I'm going to say, but to me, it's me looking out for the project. Yes, I want to see as many antennas out there in the world as possible. But, forgive me for saying it, but putting antennas inside when you're trying to receive aircraft outside is not going to work. It's not going to produce the best data possible. This company, WINGBITS, is trying to sell that to different companies, and having an antenna inside is not helping anything. You're putting it in the attic, that plywood is blocking it. Are you going to get airplanes? Absolutely. I set up an antenna in my sister's house. She has one of the strongest HOAs. I don't want to get involved in the whole HOA discussion, but I did a video on her setting up a black antenna with her black gutters on the HOA. We tried doing the inside. We only could get like 10 or 12 aircraft. The flight path for New Orleans International Airport goes over her house, and she was getting 10 to 12 aircraft. We put a black antenna on the back of her house, facing where all the airlines are coming in to arrive. The black antenna zip tied to the gutter, and she went to 50 or 60 aircraft. Yeah, she's not getting 200 like some of us, but because the whole back of her house is blocking the opposite side, but she's still doing better. And what I'm getting at with that long, boring story is you have to get these antennas outside and let them breathe, as I tell people. Now, what I'm going to say is I will put chapters in this. I know sometimes I don't want to make this video too long, but this is just some stuff that we've been discussing, you know, for your not normal installs. But I will have chapters, but I am going to show different items of what you can get. The links will be in my description below. Some people, for some reason, get completely bent out of shape, even though this says this in the description. But when I don't announce it, it's like I'm doing some kind of evil scam to people. If you've been around YouTube and crypto and these YouTube influencers for longer than 30 seconds, you know that 9 times out of 10, when there's a link to Amazon or something else in their description, they're going to receive compensation for it. If I'm selling $10 antenna holders, God forbid I make 27 cents to help support my channel. It doesn't affect the price you pay. I don't know what the big deal is. I'm not just purposely shilling stuff that isn't useful, but I'm also not working overtime and not running my other side business while I'm helping people on YouTube. So God forbid if I make 37 cents on an Amazon link. Now that said that, let's move on. All right, so one of the first things I'm going to show as far as helping you get your antenna outside if you don't want to mount it on the roof. I sent a friend a set of these and I cannot find the link to them for some reason. So I'm going to show you what they're kind of similar to. I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't come up with this idea. I stole this during the Helium days. Somebody in one of the Helium Discords and Facebook groups talked about this. If y'all saw one of my previous videos about the tornadoes that hit Slidell, tornado went right over my buddy's head, and these things were still stuck to his window outside. I'm not joking. But basically, you're looking at suction cups that can do, like, hold a mop. And there's different kinds. Like, again, I'm going to end up putting in the description the link of exactly which one it is. But this is a way of, again, you're going to get shaded on one half of your house, but still getting, if you have a clear line of sight behind your house or on the side of your house, and you can put a white antenna or a blue antenna or a black antenna, whatever you want it to match the exterior of your house, putting that outside, like he has this in his garage, and with a thin antenna cable that can actually, you know, he can still close his window. You don't have to worry about anything leaking. And again, this stayed up during a horrible, probably 60, 70 mile an hour wind gust, if not more, because that tornado went over his house. I got the videos. I've even showed y'all videos of it in my Slidell tornado video that I did also. But this is a way of getting, this is just outside the box thinking. That's what this video is for, on how to set up an antenna outside. And this, setting up that antenna outside and even getting 180 degree coverage, you're not gonna get 360 around your whole house, but 180 degrees outside, you're gonna get way better results in aircraft with this versus sticking an antenna in your attic or on the inside of a window. So I'll have the exact link for you know what these kind of are. I know there's different versions and stuff like that. I would get the ones with the sticky stuff on it. Those I found have not really worked, but I'm going to find out exactly which ones are the ones he went with. And I'm definitely going to, I know for a fact I got it from Amazon because I gave him a list of all the stuff. I was helping him set up a WINGBITS station, and I gave him a list of, hey, get this green SDR, get the 1090 antenna that I have posted to everybody, told everybody about, and get this feed line with it, and get these suction cups with it. And he was done, and it works. And his HOA ain't said nothing. He has white trim around the windows with a white, with the antenna. You can't barely see it at all. He ain't worried about it. No, and again, nobody's bothered him. It's been there probably since September. So he was one of the beta testers also that I got set up on WINGBITS. So suction cups is another thing that you can try. So if anybody's been watching any of my videos, you'll know I've talked about this antenna for a while. In my early days with the previous project, I ordered all kinds of separate antennas. And this is the one that I have stuck with since. I purchased more than 8 of them. I don't know why this says 8, but This antenna right here from ADSB Exchange is 26 inches long. I'm old-fashioned as far as this comes. I've learned from some old hams in my time. Yes, there are some 1090 antennas that are only this tall. I understand that. But I'm also about capture area. And for 5.5 dB, this thing is 26 inches long. It's more of a capture area. And to me, that helps in receive, because we're not trying to transmit here. We are strictly receiving. And for $45, you can't beat this antenna. I have gotten, if y'all have seen some of my previous videos, I have some that's even titled. If I ever figure out how to put links in here, I'll do that. But some bragging videos that there's been times I've gotten over 400 and 500 miles with this antenna. 300, 400 aircraft with this antenna. We've tried, for the people who get confused with Helium, we've tried with the ADSB, with the Signal Plus one. I'm going to tell you, this was the first antenna I purchased. This one right here. It was a very, very, very good performer. This is easily 1A, if second place. The problem has come in is every time you come here, this price is different. There's sometimes this same antenna is $70. It's a little bit shorter, so it's not the same clones. You know, a lot of these Chinese antennas are just the same clones. Helium had a bunch of those. Bunch of different antennas that people swore had different results, and they were all the same Chinese clones antennas, same exact spec, same exact height, length, width, everything, with a different sticker on it. This one is, these are different. I will say that. This one's a little bit shorter. But when you have this one for 63, another one was 44, you're saving 20 bucks for the same exact results. But for some reason, if this other one right here is sold out for some reason, because they do sell out. Some of y'all are some ordering fools. Y'all can see I just purchased another one for another host station I just worked out. But this one sold out for some reason. This is $44.95. This is the second one I'm getting, without doubt. There's no doubt in my mind. But I have purchased some of these other ones for testing. I wanted to get this white one because I had a house that had white, and I've tried this one, and I've seen some people talk about this one, and it is nowhere close to. Is it going to work? Yes. Is it going to work better than the Helium 915 antenna? A little better. Yes. It's the correct frequency and everything like that. But I'm going to tell you right now, these are a huge, vast improvement. I purchased this one. It's not even available anymore. It was an absolute joke. It's going to sit there and tell you. It's going to sit there and tell you it's for 1090 megahertz. I don't even know what 1030 is. But yet it's for a Helium hotspot rack Debra HNT miner, long range cellular. Like, just stop, man. Just stop. What does it have anything with HNT miner when it's 1090 megahertz? It just goes to show you how lost it is. But I bought it just because I was cutting my teeth. That was some of my first YouTube videos. I needed some stuff to do, so I was buying these antennas. I had somebody swear by this antenna, so I bought 2 of them just to make sure that in case one came in cracked, I bought 2 of them. And I put this outside, and a coat hanger would probably outperform it. I was really hoping that this would do good. So I'm gonna tell you what I do use this for is on top of the roof right here of my office. I didn't want to burn one of my really good antennas, is just so I had something to connect this to and I could test when I'm setting up a brand new device and I just want to test the TAR 90 screen and that kind of stuff like that. I do have one of these zip tied to a pipe up there with a feed line that goes up there, just so again I can do, because it will, you know, I have New Orleans International Airport that's 15 miles this way. I got Baton Rouge International Airport that is about 30-45 miles the opposite way, and our area has a local small aircraft, but does get a decent amount of small private aircraft through it. So I can use this to test, just to make sure a couple of airplanes show up, because that's all I get is a couple of airplanes. One thing I also want to hit on while we're talking about it, If you are going to use, like you did get away from Helium for some reason, your Helium device got fried or locked out or whatever, in jail. If you're going to use your feed line, what's on this Helium device, all right, on this connector, that is a male stick. Actually, it's called the RPSMA, which is a reverse polarity, but just follow me. This one is female. So your feed line coming in, if it's used to this, your line coming in is going to be female. Well, female to female doesn't work. Not that I'm trying to assume anybody's gender, but you will need an adapter to go with a male here that you're going to have to connect here. And now it has a male like this one did. And so you can use that feed line. I don't get them as much anymore, but there's a lot of people I used to help setting up in the beginning who said, look, hey, Grumpy, I got everything set up right, but my TAR 1090 screen has 0, maybe 1 or 2. When the plane was really close, what do you think's wrong with it? First thing I would say is, was that a previous Helium setup? Yeah. Did you change the polarity? What are you talking about? And that's what it is. This one and this one are different. So make sure you're looking at these. These are also going to be, I just purchased one today because the feed line I'm sending the guy is an older feed line I had from Helium. It's LMR 400, 20 feet of LMR 400 with a RPSMA to end connector. And I needed some of these. So just want to throw these out here for people to take a look at. And please stay away from any of these goofy gimmick looking antennas like this. You know, first of all, you could blow on this thing and this magnetic base right here is not going to hold anything. Please don't waste your money on this. Which brings me to this. I will tell you, my number one SDR, and I'm going to talk about those in a second, but my number one SDR right now that I've been pushing for a year now is the green SDR, USB SDR is what we call them. Because they're actually SDR, software-defined radios. I know a lot of people don't call them that, but that's what they are. For how good that green SDR is, they used all their research and quality minds on that SDR and left the rookies figure out the antennas, because this antenna sucks. And that's me putting it nicely so I don't get in trouble with YouTube. The biggest issue, and there's several people who will back me up with this on Discord, is this right here. This idiotic decision that somebody made who needs to be kicked in the test, in the kneecaps. Yeah, kneecaps very hardly. That feed line is permanently attached to that antenna, meaning if something ever happens, a squirrel chews the feed line, you'd be surprised how many times it happens to all of us where you zip tie that thing and you got little clippers or something like that or a razor knife and you accidentally nick that antenna line. It happens to all of us. At least it happens to me because I rush. But anyway, if you do that, your $90 antenna is ruined. And I don't think people realize that. Another thing is, I love to use this picture because this install is basically the wrong way to do it. Again, somebody go kick these people in the other kneecap. I don't know what all this crap is right here. Somebody could help me out. Is that like glue or something? I don't know. Are they gluing that? Like, where's the U-bolt ending at? Is that going through this piece right here? I don't know. And then there's no drip loop in here at all. We're going to talk about drip loops and stuff like that. But this, you know, I always joke about people getting triggered. This picture triggers me as a radio RF installer. And I know there's a lot of people in WINGBITS and some of these other projects that'll back me up because they also mess with RF also. This is my trigger. This is just, you don't want, you see how you have all this white right here that's covered up? That is coverage area that you're going to lose. At the very most, on a good install, what you want is you want this chrome right here to be covered, and that's about it. Preferably, you don't even want the chrome to be covered, but you're going to have to because of the way the bracket is. I understand that. But this is the wrong, you want to see how the wrong way to do it is? Go look at this picture. Again, shame on Radar Box, because for such a great product they have with the SDR, this fails miserably. Don't touch this antenna, especially for $90. Now, I'm gonna come back to this antenna because I have this argument too with sometimes people. And if y'all want to go against me, y'all can. Y'all not hurting my feelings. It's your money. I don't get upset by that kind of stuff anymore. Yep. In the Helium days, I pushed a lot of people to the king of king antennas, the Laird 915 8 dBi antenna. I had over 20 Helium setups, almost 30, I think. And I would say 95% of them had the Laird antennas. I was getting outstanding coverage, outstanding witnesses, and they outperformed any other antenna that I tested, that we tried, and put those 5.5s to shame. With Flatland, there's no takeoff angle like people show in these pictures. That's all bunk unless your Helium is other Helium stations directly underneath it. Take all that from Helium and throw it out. Y'all ever watched Harry Potter? Take your magic wand and take your memory and cast it off to the side, because on this, you want 5.5 dBi. There's a 12. My own friend, who I sent the link to, who is a ham, who knows more about Motorola than I am, that I know, sees a guy that money's no object, and he sees the 5.5 and he's thinking, wait, with Helium, I went up dBi and I did better. So he got this one. 47 inches first to begin with, but he had that space because he put this on a tower he had in his backyard. And he's in more open space than I am, and he has horrible results. Horrible results. Now, one thing I will argue with some people is, and I know what the internet says, I do find a gain is not as strict on receive than it is on transmit. Transmit's very important, but it does make a difference on receive, just not as drastic as transmit. Hey, I tell you, I like coverage areas. I was hoping this 47-inch antenna would do it, first of all, but I'm also not going to spend the $89, $90 on every antenna. The ones that I'm getting great results from is $44. But he got the 47 one. We've tried it, the 12 dBi, and it got poor results. Now, it didn't get poor results as a Helium antenna, but for great results, you can get the 5.5 for a better price. So I just wanted to cover that. Yes, I know there are people out there using 12 dBi. Don't go argue with me in the comments. I know. And you're getting just like people who telling me, hey, I'm using my Helium antenna and I'm getting great results. I'm happy for you. Congratulations. Please don't go tell everybody that in Discord that everything's fine using Helium antennas. Because yes, you're getting 100 something aircraft. I guarantee if you're getting 120 aircraft at prime time, wherever you are, with a 915 or 868 antenna, you go put a proper antenna like I'm telling people about, I guarantee you're getting 25 to 50% more aircraft, guaranteed. Guaranteed. Unless there's something wrong with it. Now, let's go to SDRs or USB receivers, whatever you want to call them. When we first started with the previous project, but actually before that, when I was doing a lot of ham stuff, this is what we were buying. You can take one of these things and go anywhere from low HF frequencies, single digit megahertz, if I'm not mistaken, to the thousands of megahertz. That's what these things are made for. That's why they're SDR, software defined radio. See right here, SDR, software defined radio. But, and look, I was using this at first with the previous project, my first 2 or 3 of them, because this is all I knew. And do they work? Yes. But these are $34. These, they're going up in price, so it's making me look like a fool. But these were $39 at first. And this is my number one go-to. You see right here, I purchased them 18 times. And helping host and family members and stuff set up, they purchased their own also. So I've been involved with 30 plus of these. I'm not going to say I never had one fail before. I'm not going to tell you all that. But Amazon, I can get it in 2 days. It's a lot easier to install, free shipping. But I will tell y'all, before anybody wants to start arguing, This one right here and this one right here is hand in hand. Now, one thing, without getting, again, this is supposed to be an advanced video, even though it's going way too long already. Where the filter's located is where people who are really into radio and RF something start to kind of have an issue. On your basic install that's going to go at your house, and you put an antenna right above the roof line like you're supposed to for the best results, this is 1-in-1. 1-in-1. Whatever one you're most comfortable with. This one's $49. If you're a Prime member, it's $49.90 flat. You get it in 2 days. Don't worry about shipping. This one is $40 plus another $20 for shipping and tax and stuff like that, because it cost me $60-something to get this in. This one fails and comes in cracked or something's wrong with it, or within the first 30 days when you're trying to install it and you break the little USB, which I'll get on that in a second, Amazon takes returns. I have no idea how it works with them. But they work. They both work. They work very well. If you're buying these, either one of these, this is the advanced part of this, for your basic setup at your house, with either one of these, you do not need to add an LNA amplifier. You don't need to add any filtration to it, cavity filters, SAW filters, or anything. That is all done inside. You can plug it in and forget about it. If you go to this one, though, you do need all that. So you're paying $34 plus some type of filter. SAW filter might be $15. Cavity filter, which is the very good ones, 50, 60 plus. Some might be even 100 plus. You can need an amplifier and filter for this one. But these you don't. So on your basic installs, we're going to talk about a little more advanced stuff in a second. But one thing I do want to talk about is, after breaking some of these USBs, when you're trying to get one of these, you know, when by the time you take this and you plug this in, it gets kind of long, and this gets a little wobbly. It doesn't take much to break this. So now I use these more of a strain relief than anything else. Take it, leave it. Do you have to use it? No. But it's a lot easier to do it like that. I get the right angle ones. So the right angle ones, because they do have some that come straight out, but the right angle ones are a little bit tighter in. And then now this is more flexible. So you can move this around when you're trying to screw it in, the antenna or anything like that. And it's fine. You know, you don't have to worry about it breaking like the other ones. Again, they're not mandatory. There's something for the advanced class, so y'all know about. So if y'all been a member of this channel for a while, or if y'all want to go back and look at the history, I got set up with a buddy of mine who has a 400-foot plus tower. Happened to have a free space on the top. There was a climb going on. Feedline was already there. I just had to give him the antenna. And even though I work with towers every day, even though I was telling somebody in the Discord, I couldn't even tell you how many repeaters from VHF, UHF, low band, high band, P25, 800, DMR. Sometimes you forget the basics. And I forgot the basics on this one. I was so thrilled to get a WINGBITS antenna up at 400 feet. And when I plugged it in and I went to Chrome and I typed this in and I saw that I only had 86 flights in the middle of the day, I about died. I knew the feedline was, because, you know, you do have to worry about loss. I know some of y'all probably thinking loss. I'm using, I want to say, like an 1.25 inch feedline. Yes, there is some loss still at 1090 megahertz, but it is nothing like I was seeing on here. Went through a couple of different steps, found out what it was. Some of it was the feedline that goes from the ground block on the inside all the way to the rack where I tried putting this at. That was 40, 50 feet of some more LMR 400. That zapped a decent amount of it. But the biggest thing we found, actually, when we started running some of the numbers and the scripts, was the noise. You up at 400 feet, you're sucking in all kinds of noise. Not like a house install, but at 400 feet, that's like having big megaphones on your ears and just listening to everything going on. We had to start bumping up some of the filtration. That's when we started doing more of this advanced 2.0 stuff. Axie, who is in WINGBITS, who knows a decent amount of this stuff too. Me and him threw some ideas back and forth. Also recently discussing with Lothar, who is in WINGBITS too, some of the stuff he's doing with filtration, stuff like that. You're realizing that this can start getting to like the professional grade type of advanced 2.0 stuff that this video was really supposed to be talking about, not all the stuff it just did. And it needed some more serious filtration. So one thing, if y'all have ever learned anything on this channel, is I have no problem eating crow. That's part of me being straight with y'all and telling y'all what I've learned through my trial and error to help y'all out. I have no problem telling you when I'm wrong. No problem. When I screw up. And in this second part 2 of this video is I tell y'all how I started having a couple of things click. Again, bouncing it from with Axie and some other people, is kind of going through this and realizing, you know, where the filters are. I even tried showing that I've tried both of these SDRs to see with the filtration. I found that the power was a little bit better in the flight aware, but the filtration was better in the radar box. And that's when we learned that on the green one, the filters before the amp, so therefore it's cleaning some of that noise before it amplifies it. Where the flight aware has an amplifier, it's boosting everything it finds and then letting the filter. And that made a little bit of difference. Again, on your house, it don't make a difference. On an install like this, it made a difference. So I had purchased one of these again, because I buy different stuff for y'all, try it out. People were talking about this. Is when I tried this on my normal installs, it made zero difference. It made zero difference when using it with a green or that blue SDR. Zero difference. Make sure y'all hear that. On a normal install, made no difference. What I like about WINGBITS is you can have this running. You don't have to worry about, when you unscrewing antennas, people, you do not have to worry about powering it off, because this is not transmitting anything. You're not going to cause any issues. But what I like about it is you can be on this screen and you can stay on this screen while you're tinkering back and forth. You can unplug the antenna, add this filter, undo the SDR, try a different SDR. You can plug in different antennas and it's instant. This isn't like Helium where, oh, I got to wait 24 hours, see how many witnesses I had yesterday, how many witnesses I got now, how much IoT. It ain't nothing like that. This is instant. Now, you want a real test, you run it for a week and then run it for another week with something different, because flights start varying a lot during the day. This is my #1 setup. This is my tower. Y'all can see right here where I'm getting 450 miles, 500 miles consistently. It ain't like it's just a jag every now and then. You can see that I'm getting all this, but I even got Corpus Christi down here. Anyway, my point is, but I can change out these little filters here and there, and it will be instantly. It'll show me right here. I got 174 aircraft right now with 750 messages, with 164 positions or whatever like that. And then I can add the soft filter, take it out, whatever like that, and then give it a minute or 2, 3 minutes and see where the numbers are. You know, while they might be a little bit different if there's a 2 or 3 less flights in the air at the time or more, a lot of times you can see a drastic difference on some of these things you're trying out. But my claim to fame in this video was I actually caught a plane taking off on the runway, which I thought was pretty cool. I was also catching all these flights right here that are on the ground level with this tower, which I think is pretty cool too, because I haven't really seen that in a lot of my other setups. So I finished with a part 3 so that y'all can kind of see where I finished at with all my fine tuning. You see up here where I got 215 aircraft at that point. You know, hitting 300 miles consistently with this setup. I'm able to get ground aircraft. This is actually the New Orleans Lakefront Airport, and you can see planes. This is the smaller private airplane. You can see that over there. And at some point, so this is what I end up with. I have a Le Potato with that flight aware SDR with the SAW filter. So now you're getting double filtering. on this tower into the lightning protection, which the lightning protection has a little bit of loss also. So the whole reason I started this video, which I'm way late on now, is what could we also do to really, if this tower has this kind of noise, where are we going from here? What's the next step? What's the advanced 2.0, maybe 3.0 that we're at now? This is some of the advanced filtering that we're talking about, which this video was really supposed to be about. A lot of us are talking about it now in the antenna, or the, like device setup pages over here on Discord, and also in the general section now, the setup discussion section, I was saying, and the general section. And I see now people who are kind of coming in late in the stream, wondering, okay, I got to buy this now. Look, a cavity filter is a way better filter than saw filters. You know, you look at what you're paying for this one, $14.99. This one right here from Sismo.com, 47 euro, I think that is. For me, in America, I bought this one. And looking at these filtration numbers, if these filtration numbers hold up true, this thing is going to blow a saw filter out the freaking water. Now, what I will tell you is $70 plus $10 shipping and tax, $80-something. This thing better blow out a saw filter. I have very high hopes for it. I was questioning, talking to Axie earlier from WINGBITS if I was even going to mention this, but I feel I have to. Kind of like this whole video YouTube thing's about, is to kind of let y'all know what I'm doing. Again, I always say not financial advice, but this is like maybe not construction advice. I'm trying this out on one station, the 400-foot tower that is getting destroyed with noise. My first step with this is leaving it running like I showed y'all, unscrewing that saw filter, screwing this in, and I'm going to take a noise reading with a noise script before, which is the strong messenger script, I think. And I'm going to do a before and after. I'm going to bring y'all along for the ride. I think that this thing is going to be a game changer for those install. Please make sure we are perfectly clear on this. If you are doing a normal install at your house, unless you live under a cell site, and even if you live under a cell site, if you live directly underneath it, you still ain't going to need it because of the takeoff. But you live a block away from a cell site, okay, you might benefit from this. But I am also leery, because you know I'm a straight shooter with y'all. I don't just kiss everybody's butt. I'm also leery about telling people to spend $70 or $80+ on something when we have no idea what WINGBITS is going to pay, or what the revenue is going to be, or anything like that. I've always touted the one thing I love about WINGBITS is there's no license fee. You can get a $39 SDR with an antenna. Some people have Helium antennas left over, feedline left over. You can get started for very, very low. But some people have one device and they want to squeeze that lemon or whatever you want to call it for as much as it can. And they don't want to set up any more devices. That's going to be the most, and they don't have to worry about paying for other devices at other locations, and they might want to squeeze it out. They might want to try it. I'm just saying that you're using a green or blue SDR that's already got a saw filter in it. That's doing a pretty adequate job on most installs when you're putting an antenna right above your roof. Yes, you're going to see a noise decrease with this one, but how much is it going to be worth? How many more aircraft, how many more messages are you going to be able to squeeze out by using this and cleaning up the signal? That's what I'm questioning. There are times on that tower site, I'm getting 300 aircraft during the day, over 1,000, 1,500 messages, 300, 400, sometimes 500 miles. How much more am I going to squeeze out with this? Now, you really want to up the game. This is what I got for you. Welcome to the Air Spy Mini. If y'all have been hanging out in Discord at all with Axie, he has been touting this thing like crazy. He's been trying to get me to put it on the tower for a while now. But the difference is with the price of this one being $49 or the blue one being about the same price when you add shipping, This one's $100 plus shipping and whatever else. Another thing about this one is, just get this out the way first before I start, I want everybody to make sure they hear this. If you're running one of these, you have to buy some type of filtered preamp, LNA, whether you use a soft filter like we showed earlier. Now, this is the Uptronics one. I know this is what Axis use, a certain version of this one. I don't know if this is the exact one. I'm waiting for him to contact me back, but this is a combined filter preamp. So at the very least, you're going to need this. So this is some more money you're going to have to spend, but these don't have a filter on them like some of these other ones do. You're also going to need some type of amplifier with that one. So it's going to have to be something similar to this one, or like I said, or that combined version that I showed you. But again, the really good one, the Cadillac, doesn't have LNA for amplification or filtering. Or you're gonna have to go to this one. But you're gonna, again, I'm sorry to repeat it, but I also make sure we're clear on that. To get the best results, you're gonna need a separate filter, separate LNA. And this is gonna be like kind of a version of the LNA you're gonna need. Or they have them on Amazon. Again, I'll show you a link to that. But going from that, this thing, the reviews on it are crazy, even if you get close to what some people are proclaiming. But when you go into these, people have been doing 1090 for a while. It maybe just hit the crypto market in the last 12 months with WINGBITS and some other projects. The whole ADSB genre and FlightAware and all these other ones, that's been around for a while. And these guys have been testing and playing with these things. This thing just, I wish I could sit here and talk technical to y'all. You don't have to worry about me talking over your head, because I don't really understand exactly what it's doing either. But somehow this is pulling in way better than what those other SDRs are. And on some setups, you are going to see a drastic difference in this. Now, I'll also post this article in my description. And this is RTL-SDRs, who makes those black ones, but they have a lot of good information on a lot of this stuff on their website. But this was several years ago, a review that they did on that AirSpy Mini, and they talk about some of the different filtrations in them and different like that. There is a bigger AirSpy version available, which is about another $50, $60 more. I don't really know the difference on them. Not familiar with them, but supposedly just as good. This one is just as good as this one, and this one's $99 to $100. They show you the insides of them and everything like that. But what I wanted to show was, when you come further down, it's actually this website from FlightAware, and they talked about this new, AirSpy Mini that came out. This was a couple of years ago, and again, they talk about how you would have to use some type of, soft filter preamp, triple filtered LNA, whatever. We talked about that. But this is what I wanted y'all to see. This is this guy's results from going from the previous SDR to the AirSpy Mini. And you're looking at his messages right here, and you're looking at, they got this curved line in here where he's going from, I think it averaged about 1,500 at some point, and up to 2,100. This is stupidly crazy. Now, one thing I will caution about is, and I don't know, is if this is just a regular black SDR. First of all, I question if he's getting this, because I have never seen this number with a regular RTL SDR. I've played with them, I used them. But I did see a significant gain going from a black RTL SDR to the green or the blue SDR. So how much more is it going to be? I don't know. But this is still a very impressive jump. Looking at this one, you got basically the same thing. Is you have, this is the range that it was normally getting. with the normal SDR, and now you're jumping up to, I don't know, another 25, 50 miles, 25 miles, something like that, 20 miles. So you're seeing increase in range, seeing an increase in aircraft, and significant increase in messages. Now this one, he's saying that with the Mini, he used a better filtration system and got even better results. So now, and he actually said, and the red one was during the summer, which had more peak planes versus when the blue AirSpy Mini is. And here you got 1,500 again, jumping up to 2,500. So you had 1,000 increase. He was hitting 3,000, 3,100 messages at one point, when here he's not getting over 1,800. You look at the range right here, you know, he's getting along this line 175, 180. Now he's bumping up to median of 210, 215, somewhere around there. You know, you can see that up here with the range numbers. So again, for my one install, again, I'll have a link to this. I am going to try this out. Seems like I just can't quit spending money on this stuff. Like I said, I already have that filter coming, and I'm very curious. I'm doing that first by itself, leaving basically the setup the way it is at my tower. I'm going to keep the Le Potato. I'm taking that soft filter off. I'm putting the cavity filter on, leaving the blue SDR on at first, doing some measurements, seeing what happens with it. Then I'm going to take the green SDR and seeing how that works, because you're doing kind of a double filtration thing, which you can never have enough isolation or you know, separation in any kind of radio system, really, to a point. So I'm very curious to see that. And I'm going to have to get me a hold of one of these AirSpy Minis. But I just wanted to, I know I said this 100 times, and I'm going to say this again, because I can see, I know how this works, and I know how people are going to take my words and run sideways with it. I'm only doing this for one install because it's a premium, super duper duper setup at 400 feet on top of a tower. We're all flat land in Louisiana. We don't have mountains or anything like that. So I'm curious to see if I can bust 500 miles with this. 500 miles has been my max. On the east side of this, I'm getting 350 consistent, 400 consistent miles during the day. One day I have to try to screenshot that again during the day so I can get pictures of it. But I'm curious to see if I can bust higher, if I can go over 300 aircraft, get more than, 800 to 1,000 messages that I'm getting with this setup. I'm curious. My other plan also is, and I didn't want to even start going down this route, is I'm seeing argument back and forth. Again, these are the forums for ADSB. This isn't like Discord, WINGBITS, crypto. These guys have been doing this for years now. So we have to accept that fact that these guys have been through some of the stuff. They're probably laughing at us that we're trying to figure this stuff out, and they've been doing it. You have arguments back and forth on the type of board that you're using. You know, using this, are you going to use this with a Pi in it? Are you using a Le Potato? Are you using the Pi 2? Or are you using a 0 Pi? They're trying to say, depending on what device you use, you will also see an increase or decrease in your messages in your aircraft because of how that device is processing. Yeah, people arguing that it don't matter. It's either bogged down or it's not. Once you go over a Pi 2, there's no bogging down and it's fine. But part of my experiment is I want to take the Pi off this sense cap because this is a great pod. Sense cap was a great miner. I've been doing a lot of testing with this one. That's why I haven't really deployed it when I want to test out some of the new Pit Harbor stuff. And I'm going to put that where that Le Potato is. And I'm going to see, probably before I start doing this other stuff, because I have the graphs and stuff from the last week or 2 weeks. And I know I got several days before this stuff starts coming in. So probably tomorrow, I'm going to program that up with regular Raspberry or Pi OS, whatever you want to call it this week. Put WINGBITS on it, so that's all it's running, because that's all the potatoes technically running. It's never had Bit Harvest or any of this other stuff on it. I'm going to put that on that, Pi on that, run a WINGBIT script on it, and run that for several days until this stuff comes in. And then I'm going to compare the graphs. I'm curious to see if this Pi 4 does better than La Potato. God forbid if it does, because I'm really going to have egg on my face and have people question stuff. If it only has 20 more flights, is that going to make that much of a difference? You know, we were getting La Potatoes because we could not get Pies. I don't regret that, no matter what happens. Personally, I've been playing around with these La Potatoes with some other stuff. I've never had one bogged down, never had any issue. You know, initial setup with the initial OS when you're not running some of this other stuff is a little wonky, but once it gets up and running, it's fine. So I know this was supposed to be more of an advanced setup, and I kind of went all over the place. I do have some other videos on setups and shopping list. I will have links to it at the end of this video so that y'all can go and see that. But I just wanted to discuss some of the advanced stuff that we are looking at, some of the advanced stuff that we are discussing in the WINGBITS Discord. If you're interested in any of that stuff, go check that out. Again, I'm gonna say this again because I don't want people to take my words and screw them up and make me look like a fool. For majority of y'all who are just trying to get into this project, y'all setting up an antenna on the outside of the window, because I'm not even going to suggest putting it inside. The outside of the window with the suction cups I talked about, or on, you know, your roof line. Make sure it's high enough on your little roof line so you can see over the roof and stuff like that, because you're looking 40,000 feet up, whatever. For your basic setups, that green SDR or that blue SDR and that antenna that I suggest to people is fine, and it's good enough, and that's all you need to get involved in this project. Under $100. No license you have to purchase or anything like that. So that, no. Now, if you want to squeeze a little more out of it, you want the best of the best, you want to compete with some of the big dogs with, you know, several minors and get up in some rankings and have a little fun with it and stuff like that, and you don't care if you're spending money and it might not make a difference in rewards, then you can start playing with some of these SAW filters, these LNAs, or the AirSpy minis, stuff like that. You know, when we start playing with these AirSpy minis, there's going to be a whole nother setup video on that, and I've been talking to Axie on it, because there are some additional, you know, WINGBITS right now is a very easy install. It's one copy script. You copy it, run it, put your name in, put your location in, boom, and it's done. With this AirSpy mini, you're going to have to start playing with some files and adding some things. Those things do get hot. And he's telling me you need to put some heat sinks on it and stuff like that. So that's, again, why this is an advanced class that we're talking about here. An advanced video. And I'm going to bring y'all along for the ride, because that's what this video, this YouTube channel was more for, was the how-to stuff. So I hope I have time to do all that. That's my big thing. But I'm going to get this stuff in, walk y'all through it. If y'all are interested in playing with it, that's what some of this, that's how we got started with, like, some of this ham hobby stuff. It's just a hobby and the playing with it and different things like that. So basic install, y'all doing good. Green SDR, antenna, feed line, done with it. Majority of y'all, it's all y'all gonna need. Y'all do not need extra filtration or amps if you're using the green SDR or the blue SDR. When you want to go to advanced 2.0 stuff, then you can start playing with that stuff. It may make a difference. It may not make a difference. You need to make sure you're ready to accept that. If you spend $70 on a cavity filter and realize there wasn't that much noise to begin with, so your green SDR was doing good enough and you didn't really see hardly any increase. So I rambled on long enough. Didn't really hit on what I wanted to hit on this video, but I think y'all got the point across. That's why I put chapters in here so y'all can skip around. So for those who watch this video, I think it's going to, by the time I finish editing it, it'll be released Thursday morning on the 16th. So this evening, there'll be a live, and I'm planning on discussing some of this stuff in the live. along with some crypto prices getting back a little better and stuff like that. So I'll see you on the live this evening, and we'll see how that works out. So thank you all for watching. Thanks for anybody who stayed along with all this rambling I do, and I'll see you all in the next video.